was a celebratory night in the making in Hollywood style. Last night, like all memorable evenings, didn't end in the young part of the night. It was a night when you got the chance to revere the Phillies' new center fielder. If it was too late and you weren't able to catch it all, your Fightins came out on top and stole the show. Halfway through the homestand for the Phillies, it's been kind of an up and down first 4 games, although they did show life offensively last night against the Cardinals. They say goodbye to the Cardinals, and they say hello to the Pittsburgh Pirates to begin a 4-game series. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Guess what we have tonight? We have a Major League debut. Jonathan Pettibone will make his debut for the Phils, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's first talk about this Phillies offense. Last night, game was meandering along against the Cardinals, and all of a sudden in the 8th inning, the Phillies came to life.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be frustrating, Tom. They just couldn't get anybody in with runners in scoring position. The game was going back and forth, and you're thinking, oh, no, they're never going to catch up in this game or take the lead. And then all of a sudden it happened. This line drive double to left field by pinch hitter Lance Nix, who's done a really good job as a pinch hitter. That would tie the game up for the Phillies. And Lance Nix with that big hit. Now here's Ben Revere grounded into a double play earlier in the game. Has a chance to redeem himself, and bam, base hit up the middle. He's pretty excited about the Phillies take the lead, and before you could blink, here goes a home run by Eric Kratz off Mitchell Boggs, one of the many bullpen guys who's been struggling for the St. Louis Cardinals. That opened up a nice 4-run lead for the Phillies, and they were able to coast home with that win, winning late. Here's what Eric Kratz has done in his Phillies career. You see, he had a cup of coffee with the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was his other big league experience. He's done a nice job here as the backup catcher last year, and this year basically as the #1 guy until Carlos Ruiz comes back on Sunday.
Yeah, it looks like Carlos Ruiz will begin playing tomorrow in games that will get him ready for this weekend against the New York Mets. All right, Eric Kratz will be behind the plate tonight, and he'll be dealing with Jonathan Pettibone making his Major League debut, just 22 years old.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to see. Butterflies in a Major League debut. It's really cold here tonight, as you see Pettibone starting to loosen up out there before he would have gone through his warm-ups. And on a night like this, a pitcher, if he can get a grip on the ball, the hitters do not like to hit. Here's the bio on this kid. He's only 22 years of age. He's tall at 6'6", 225 pounds, minor league stats right there, and he's gone through the Phillies system after being a 3rd-round pick. We did see him in spring training a couple times this year, and he got hit around a little bit. He has been pitching at Lehigh Valley and has had a couple starts and has also been hit around a little bit up there. So there's no way to know what's going to happen here tonight, except that it's always exciting when a kid makes his Major League debut here at Citizens Bank Park, and that's what we're going to see out of Pettibone. He'll be going up against a tough guy tonight, but once again, it's cold. Hitters don't like to hit on a night like this, and if he can get the ball around the plate with some stuff on it, he may have some success.
Yeah, another storyline tonight, not only Pettibone making his Major League debut, Charlie Manuel was asked how old he feels since he managed Pettibone's dad in the minor leagues, and now gets a chance to manage Jonathan. So he'll be opposed tonight by A.J. Burnett, the veteran, who's coming off a very good outing, his last time out for the Pittsburgh Pirates. All right, so the fans are settling in tonight for the first of this 4-game series between the Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a cool night. Make sure you find a little sunshine early on to get something started. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. It's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Is it a time you experience good banking? By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phillies. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your fills. And by Independence Blue Cross. We're creating a more coordinated healthcare system that is built around you. Independence Blue Cross, changing the game. Sure, he ran it through his mind over and over again. In particular, maybe that ascension up the dugout stairs and out to the mound here at Citizens Bank Park. He is all ready to go as he's finished up his warm-up tosses. Starling Marte is leading off for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the first pitch of Pettibone's major league career is taken outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Pettibone, as we showed you, 6 feet 6 inches, has very good size. And the pitch is lined toward left center field. That's going to be in for an extra base hit. It'll take a 1-hop off the wall. Revere gets to it quickly. And Marte, who had been 1 for his previous 11, pulls into second with a leadoff double here in the top of the first. And the rest of the Pirates lineup brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. After Marte, it's Travis Snider and Andrew McCutchen. Garrett Jones, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Neil Walker bats 5th. Pedro Alvarez 6th. In the bottom third of Martin, Barmes, and A.J. Burnett.
And he threw a fastball down the middle. And in any league, you're going to get hurt. But especially in this one, if you throw fastballs in the middle of the plate, you'll get hurt. There are his numbers at Lehigh Valley this year in 2 starts.
0-1 with a 9.64 ERA. Snyder takes low and inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Pettibone overall won 33 games in the minor leagues. Last year he was combined 13-8 with an ERA of 3.10. Inside and low, 2-0.
Scouting report on him, they say his fastball 90 to 93. Slider cutter, and really needs his changeup to be successful. And obviously on our Budweiser scouting report, he's making his major league debut here tonight on a cool night.
Yeah, he joins a long list of players who have followed their dad to the big leagues. 2-0 pitch to Snyder. There's a strike at the knees. It's 2-1. Jonathan's dad, Jay, was a major leaguer with the Minnesota Twins. In fact, pitched for Charlie Manuel. There's Jay getting a chance to watch his son for the first time in a Phillies uniform. His family making their way from California for tonight's ball game.
Trying to get him to throw his changeup as Eric Kratz. He just threw one there and missed. The problem with that, of course, is now you get into a fastball count.
Snyder 357, no homers and 4 runs batted in. He's hit in 8 straight ball games. And he fouls it away. It's 3-2.
Talked to Charlie before the game doing his radio show, and I said, before I turn this on, I don't want to stump you. I said, it's hard to get you to say it's the first time ever for anything, but have you ever managed 2 generations? It took him a long time to think about it. He said, no, never managed. I've been around 2 generations of players. He babysat Jared Wright after playing with Clyde, but never managed to.
3-2 the count to Snyder. And a foul ball, and Kratz can't hold on. He almost caught that out of the air.
Yeah, he was doing everything he can, even though when that popped out of his glove to try and get this kid an out.
Charlie was also asked today if it made him feel old. He said no. They said, well, what if you coached or managed Jonathan Pettibone's kids? And it was 3 generations. He said, well, if that were the case, I'd be excited because that means I'd still be around.
Yeah, I'd be real excited.
3-2 with nobody out here in the top of the first. Fly ball, center field. Ben Revere is under it. Marte's going back to tag. Revere getting a running start. The throw will be offline, and Marte slides in safely at third.
It's a good job by Marte knowing the player. Ben Revere does not throw very well, even though he was coming in. Normally you're not going to run on that, but he knew he could. And it's time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's game, with the wind blowing really hard from right to left. You hardly ever see that. The Pirates, well, they are a hot team with a very solid bullpen, a lot of strikeouts in their bullpen. And the major league debut for Jonathan Pettibone. We can shake off the butterfly, see what happens.
Well, here's Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen, a .273 hitter with 2 home runs. Phillies play the infield back, and they start him off with a changeup, but it's low, 1-0.
Yeah, obviously play the infield back here in the first inning, concede a run for an out.
Michael Young is the only one that's up, the third baseman for the Phillies. Outside, 2-0. There's Michael, who was only a few steps away from Marte.
If the ball's hit to him, he probably won't. They probably have him holding it. Well, maybe they're going on contact, but normally not in the first inning. Nick Leyva's a third base coach down there. Nick's a really good baseball man. Managed the Phillies, of course, and has been a third base coach for a lot of teams, and he's one of the good ones.
He was trying to high-five the Fanatic as the Fanatic was driving by.
They're old friends.
Well, the Fanatic pulled his hand away. And McCutchen takes a fastball for strike one. It's 3-1. McCutchen, one of the premier players, not only in the National League, but in all of baseball.
Yeah, this guy's good.
He leads in stolen bases in the National League. He's second in doubles with 8. And he fouls it away. It's 3-2.
Best pitch is out pitch. They say is a changeup, but would you dare throw on a 3-2 with a left-handed hitter like Jones on deck? You're going to get some help tonight, the left-handed or the pitchers with left-handed hitters, because the ball's going to get knocked down a little bit to right field.
3-2 pitch to McCutchen. On the outside corner, called strike 3. A little paint for his first major league strikeout, and his family certainly enjoyed that. That took some guts. And there are 2 outs here in the first.
Well, we talked about getting hurt with a high fastball. Now this pitch in any league, if you get it called, you can live out there. And McCutchen thought it was outside. Certainly wasn't high and certainly wasn't low. Yeah, we knew he could get one more out.
Well, you see that number right there, that set of stats. 3 runs or fewer in 45 of 55 starts since 2011. That was part of his success last year. Garrett Jones laid on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 0-1. Garrett Jones, overall 300 hitter with a home run and 9 runs batted in. Inside, 1-1.
Throwing a lot of fastballs. Maybe he cut that one a little bit. It did move. And Eric Kratz trying to work in his changeup.
There's Marte leading off third. And a liner toward right field. Mayberry coming over. Diving attempt. He made the grab. John Mayberry just saved the top of the first inning for Jonathan Pettibone. That ball was hit on a line by Garrett Jones. And Mayberry reacted beautifully for the final out here in the top of the first. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, and a heck of a grab. And Jonathan Pettibone certainly appreciated a big league play. But they went down to the top of the first. Let's take a look at Charlie Emanuel's lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off is shortstop Jimmy Rollins. John Mayberry bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Michael Young. Dominic Brown's in left field. He'll bat 6th. Ben Revere 7th. Eric Kratz will hit 8th, and Jonathan Pettibone, who has had some minor league at-bats, will bat 9th. And they'll face veteran right-hander A.J. Burnett, who just picked up his 2,000th career strikeout in his last outing. He's 1-2 this year with a 2.63 ERA.
3-3 in this ballpark. 1-3 at Veterans Stadium. Give you an idea how long he's been around. He's going to be a 2-pitch pitcher here tonight on our Budweiser scouting report. Fastball and curveball. He'll throw a changeup once in a while, but he's going to throw 2 pitches. Those are his lifetime numbers against the Phillies. He also pitched a couple of World Series games against them when he was with the Yankees.
He'll face Jimmy Rollins to start things off, and Jonathan Pettibone will sit and watch and hope that he gets a chance to bat here in the bottom of the first. A reminder that it's Earth Week. 90% of energy used doing laundry is just for heating water. To drastically reduce your laundry's footprint and save on bills, turn that dial to cold. Green is universal. Wheels, you see the green logo atop the CSN.
I like that.
Give you little tidbits throughout the week. Rollins fouls the 0-1. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
A.J. Burnett's been around a long time, drafted back in 1995 by the Mets. Phillies saw him so many games with the Marlins, of course, when they had a heck of a pitching staff. Dempster was on that team, Beckett.
0-2 the count to Rollins. And Rollins takes inside. Well, last night, folks celebrated the Fanatic's birthday. Still some remnants. A lot of those youngsters were running around the ballpark last night with the Fanatic dangle hat. Some of the older folks too. Way inside, 2-2 to Rollins. Rollins is 6 for 18 on this homestand. And overall hitting .257 with a home run and 5 runs batted in.
Well, the Pirates are facing somebody tonight they don't know. The Phillies are very familiar with A.J. Burnett. That's the pitch you hope he can't get over, and that it's cold and it's tough to throw because his curveball is a tremendous pitch.
The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Alex Warmkessel of Mertztown, PA. Phillies hit a home run at tonight's ball game, and Alex will win $400. And a fastball for a called strike 3. Ball came back on Rollins, one away here in the first.
Burnett out there tonight without sleeves. Amazing. It's a good pitch. Little running, sinking fastball, and that's a strike.
That'll bring John Mayberry Jr. to the plate. Mayberry has been batting second for the last handful of games for the Phillies, and he's 5 for 13 on this homestand. He's hit it 5 straight. Rollins still talking about that. I bet he hasn't even taken the helmet off.
He may have thought it was high. Maybe it was. But
yeah, that's what it is. They just what Charlie was just talking about.
You know, I was looking more at where it crossed the plate and it was a strike, but he probably thought it was high. But he didn't argue with umpires.
Down the right field line, that's a foul ball. That was below the letters.
Even in today's game, that looked like a strike.
Yeah.
Because they don't call anything above the waist. But anyway, you can see why a hitter would take that pitch the way they call them nowadays and think it maybe was a little high.
Got a couple of young umpires as part of this crew tonight, including the guy behind the plate, Mike McClinsky. Brian Knight at first. Dan Iasonia is around at second base. The 0-2 pitch coming to Mayberry. And a breaking ball, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Burnett, who's first in the National League in strikeouts with 37.
And that's his bread and butter pitch right there. He'll go after you with that curveball, especially with 2 strikes. 57.81% of his strikeouts or his usage of pitches with 2 strikes is his curveball. And there's a perfect example. When he gets 2 strikes, he's going to throw it a lot.
Remember back in game 2 of the 2009 World Series, the Phillies were up 1-0, and they had Burnett to deal with, and he had not been pitching all that well. And he pitched a gem of a game up at Yankee Stadium. Utley takes outside. Then he came back later in the series and didn't pitch all that well. That was the Burnett that everybody anticipated in game 2.
In this ballpark, big difference.
Pirates have the overshift on against Utley. 3 infielders on the right side. Alvarez is left alone on the left side. Now the 1-0 pitch to Utley. That's a strike, and it's 1-1.
Burnett missed the start of the season last year when he bunted a ball off his eye. Broke the orbital bone They were expecting him to be their opening day starter. In fact, the Phillies would have seen him on opening day last year.
Still had a good year. He went 16-10 with an ERA of 3.51. It was better at the beginning compared to later in the season, which is basically, or was basically, the Pirates' season in a nutshell.
Right. The Phillies have had pretty good luck against him in the regular season, as you see there in the last 7 starts.
Now the 1-2 pitch coming Utley. And Utley fists it toward left center field, and Marte, boy, did he close fast on that one. He makes the diving catch, and the side is retired. So the Phillies have a diving catch to finish up the top of the first, and now the Pirates have one to wrap up the bottom of the first. On to the second we go. Pirates nothing, Phillies nothing. The Pirates will be in town for 3 more days. Tomorrow is Asian Pacific night at the ballpark. Wednesday, all fans receive the MLB Network Sling Bag. It's a great giveaway. And then Thursday's the first Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Purchase your tickets at Phillies.com. We begin the second. Neil Walker, the Pittsburgh native, will lead it off for the Pirates. Walker overall hitting .266 with a home run and 8 RBIs. And a strike by the inner half. It's 1-1.
Pettibone works fast. He's looking in, getting his signs from Eric Kratz, and he's ready to go. And that really is good for the fielders on a brutal night like this.
Just missed off the inner half. It's 2-1. Well, Pettibone was obviously raised by a former pitcher, and he says that his dad made sure he worked on command and pace. Those were the most important things as he grew up. There's a foul ball. It's 2-2.
Well, absolutely. Command your fastball and keep your fielders in the game. It's already paid off for him by that tremendous play John Mayberry made. On a night like this, if a guy's all over the place, guys stand out there, they turn into frozen statues.
2-2 the count to Walker.
You watched before the first pitch was thrown. Jimmy Rollins had his hand inside his shirt. Ryan Howard had a hand inside his back pocket, just trying to keep their hand warm before the ball hit to them.
Yeah, Jimmy did that a lot last night. I was talking to him about that before the ball game. He said, hey, you just try to keep everything as soft as possible. That's a good pitch. A changeup, and Walker's down looking. 1 away here in the second.
Asking Rich Doobie about his changeup before the game. He said it's a straight change. It's not that split change that Halladay throws, that Kyle Kendrick throws. It's more of one kind of choke it in your hand, like a circle change more than anything, and that's what it looked like there.
Well, 1 away. It'll bring Pedro Alvarez to the plate, and Murph, Charlie Manuel was asked a lot, as we mentioned before, about managing Jonathan Pettibone after managing his dad earlier in his career.
Well, that's absolutely right. And first thing he said about Jonathan Pettibone is that what he's really curious, and maybe the most thing he's most worried about is, just being able to control the adrenaline in a major league debut. He's hoping that he would be able to do that. Getting through the first inning unscathed certainly will help. But as you mentioned, also asked about his dad, Jay, who Charlie managed back in the minor leagues. And one of the reporters asked if it made him feel old that he had managed Jay, and now he's also managing Jonathan, as that ball is clears the fence. Alvarez, so Pedro Alvarez with the home run right there, guys. Asked if it made him feel old, whether he coached Jay and now he's coaching his son. Charlie said, well, I hope to be around to coach their grandsons as well. That's Charlie's thoughts.
Well, Alvarez homers for the third time this year to make it a 1-0 ball game.
Yeah, he was off to a horrendous start and now starting to hit some home runs. He strikes out a lot, does Pedro Alvarez. This pitch, well, it was right down the middle, and he kept it fair.
Well, now he'll settle back down. 1-0 Pirates on top. Russell Martin the batter, and Martin takes low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Pirates have been hitting some home runs, part of their success.
Well, that's the 12th home run the Pirates have hit, but many have come the last handful of games. They took 3 of 4 from the Atlanta Braves to get over the 500 mark at 10-8.
Yeah, 3 in a row. They're losing the first game, and they gave him a battle in that one too.
1-1 pitch to Martin. Inside, 2-1. That's a bullet to left field. Dominic Brown will watch it go over his head and off the wall. He should be able to play it in and hold Martin. Nope, Martin's going to try for 2, and he is out at second base. That's just poor base running by Russell Martin. He had the play right in front of him.
Plus, he's played here a lot. If you haven't played here a lot, you don't realize it's shallow out there and how quickly that ball can get into second base, how hard it is to get doubles if you're not a real fast runner. And good job by Dominic Brown here. Now watch what he does. See, remember he got caught earlier in the season going too close to the wall. Well, that's a good learning experience because he backed off that time and got a good carom, and Jimmy lets the throw go through because Chase Utley's telling him, let it come to me. And they get him at second base. So that helps.
Well, 7-game hitting streak for Martin Budd. A good play by Dominic Brown for his first outfield assist. And it's 0-1. Dominic was chided a little bit last night on a ball that dropped in front of him. And I thought he handled it really well. I mean, he walked away kind of laughing after he made a play later on in the inning. The folks in left field were getting on him a little bit about not giving up his body on a ball that landed in front of him.
Worst thing you can do in this town is let people think they're getting to you. And anything.
Well, as it turned out, it didn't hurt. The Phillies wound up winning. But Dominic didn't seem to be shaken at all by it. And, when he made a catch a few, I guess it was a few batters later, the fans went up with a cheer.
Great reaction to have.
Inside to Barmes, 2-2.
Book used to say this is the toughest town to play in and then the greatest when they love you. He said they'll try to crack you at the beginning, and if they can't, they love you.
2-2 pitch to Barmes. And he fouls it away.
You play sports in Philadelphia, it's a test. Because it's a way of life here. These are great fans and they care. Enthusiastic, they want you to win, and they want the players to play with the same passion that they come to the games with.
Swing and a miss. He was able to get Barmes for his 3rd strikeout. He does give up his first run on the home run by Pedro Alvarez. Dominic Brown eased it a little bit in the top of the 2nd. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd here at Philly. Bit about it. Be a part of the conversation. Philly Sports Talk, the new way to talk Philly sports with Michael Barkat. Weeknights at 5 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, we go to the bottom of the second. Phillies trail at 1-0. They'll have Ryan Howard, Michael Young, Dominic Brown due up against A.J. Burnett. Burnett has won 138 games during his major league career. He's lost 123.
And that includes a no-hit, no-run game back on May 12th of 2001. Got a real gem here. The fine young pitching coach of the Phillies.
He was fine and young at that point.
Yes. Everybody knows he had 9 walks that night, 10 base runners. He threw 125 fastballs and 6 hooks that whole game. 125
That's remarkable.
Fastballs. Doob says he still has the chart at home.
Did Doob admit that he was calling the pitches from the dugout?
He just said he just sat there and watched it, and it was as amazed as everybody else.
0-1 the count to Ryan Howard. And the pitch. Fastball for a strike.
Said it got to the point where they knew they were going to take him out of there if they finally got a hit off.
Toyota Major League Scoreboard, the Rays are shutting out the Yankees 4-0. That game's at the bottom of the first. Yunel Escobar is homered for the second straight day. 0-2 the count to Howard. Howard hit a couple balls hard last night.
Yeah, the difference in the shift that they employed on Utley and then Ryan is the second baseman goes into the outfield. Where with Chase they can't do that because he runs so much better. See how far out Walker is. With Chase Utley, he was on the grass on the edge of the infield.
And Howard loops it into right center field for a hit. So he's aboard. First hit of the day for the Phillies. And Michael Young's coming up. During the 2013 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Michael Young is riding a 12-game hitting streak. It's the 10th consecutive year that he's had at least one 12-game hitting streak.
That's remarkable. That hit he got last night was huge. It was a play that the pitcher got in the way.
Yeah, the pitcher thought he should have fielded it cleaner.
Yeah, it was a ground ball to the middle infielders. It's an easy play, but 2 outs and nobody on base. And Michael Young winds up with a hit and a great base running on the ball that Brown hit for him to get the third, and that set up that inning.
1-0 the count to Young. Howard a very short lead off first. And it's 2-0.
Here you go right here. Now take a look what happens. He hits his ground ball. Boggs reaches his glove out. Easy play for the second baseman. And now they get the infield hit. Base hit after that. Revere's hit. 3-run homer. Game over. Just like that. Boggs had that pitcher's look like, why did I get in the way? But it's just a reflex.
Boy, he should have fielded that though too.
Sure. Sure. But you know, a lot of them are not good fielders.
Well, then Revere's hit basically whizzed right on by his glove. A line drive.
That was a P.
3-0 the count to Young. And Young taking all the way, takes a strike. It's 3-1.
But you look back on that ball that Dominic Brown hit. How many guys first to third on that nowadays? Because guys don't know how to run the bases a lot of times.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And it set up that inning.
Dominic waits on deck behind Michael Young. Good hitters count. And he fouls it away. It's 3-2.
You don't run here for 2 reasons. One, Ryan, of course, struggling so much that it's a strikeout, throw him out easy. But this guy is a strikeout pitcher. It's not like you're dealing with a sinker ball pitcher here that you're worried about a ground ball double play, even though the Phillies hit into a lot of double plays.
Yeah, they're second in the National League in double plays so far this year.
You'd be more likely to strike out into one.
Foul ball, and it remains 3-2.
gets one of those high fastballs up, Young can hurt him.
Well, he does have a home run against A.J. Burnett. He has 9 hits in 36 at-bats, and one of the 9 hits a home run. There you see the splits on Burnett. The 13 strikeouts per 9 innings is something that even Burnett has not been able to accomplish in his career. But look at all the base runners, too. Ball 4, first and second. That's a good eye. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Ricky Ricardo wanted me to know that he's not clean shaven on his mustache and goatee, but he did say he needed to color it a little bit. That's why we couldn't see it the other night. So he's colored it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. I looked on my remote control today for the SAP button.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it, but you can, if it's not on your remote control, you can change your television to the Spanish language through the menu button. Dominic Brown's the hitter with runners on first and second. Inside, 1-0.
He needs to make a productive out, even if he doesn't get a base hit here. By that, get something to the right side. They could get the runner over to third. Now, of course, it's a little tougher with Ryan Howard at second base. Ryan knows what to do. He knows he should go back and tag up, but whether he can get over or not.
Dominic sends one toward left center field. Boy, Marte covers a lot of ground. He's already out there. The wind kind of knocked it back toward him. Yeah, that'll be the first out here in the second.
He hit that ball well.
Think about the last series the Phillies had against the Cardinals. If Matt Holliday was out in left field, he would not have caught that ball. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It would have been a lot tougher for him because he would have never gotten that kind of jump.
But Marte is a different kind of left fielder. So Dominic's retired for the first out. Ben Revere's the hitter.
They give a report on him as above average arm. Same thing with Snyder, and they're calling McCutchen average.
I always thought McCutchen was above average.
I would have thought he would be above average too.
Corners are in for Revere.
Into that double play in the 6th inning and gets another chance and hits a BB up the middle, and that gave the Phillies the lead, and then the 3-run homer followed.
See that emotion because this is such a game of redemption. I mean, that double play was perfectly rolled by Ben Revere to turn it against him.
Right at the bag. This is a game that will make you fail, and then you have to try, as you say, to have redemption.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Revere hitting .213. Curved ball in there for strike 2. 1-2.
They do not have their center fielder McCutchen over. Maybe they figure these two guys can cover so much ground they don't have to do a big overshift. You see where they are. They're shaded that way, but not the way a lot of teams do. Fairly deep, too. All right, now, a lot of times you're going to see them in this area. Like that. But not tonight. But they can run so well. You know, they probably figure they can cover a lot of ground without overshifting.
3-2 the count. Awfully close pitch. Now, I have to say, you know, we've introduced your new telestrating skills. What was that you just put up there?
It's supposed to be an arrow.
Solid, free hand. Looked like a triangle.
Yeah, well, I didn't drive the figure enough. But my hands are so cold I couldn't feel it.
That's why there's a pen up there.
That's all right. We're not reaching for that.
Runners lead off. 3-2 the count to Revere. And he fouls it away.
It's like the game of baseball. This telestrator is meant for you to fail until you learn it correctly. We're working on it. moved in with 2 strikes.
Line drive toward left field. Marte again is there.
Just moved in too. Not that he wouldn't have caught it before, because that ball was blowing out to him, but by moving in, it was really easy. Here's a hit last night that put it away. Benz gave the Phillies the lead, and then Eric Kraft steps up, and you could tell by Mitchell Boggs' reaction, he knew that baby was way out, and it was. 3-run jolt right there, and all of a sudden a 4-run lead.
Kratz has hit in 3 straight. That home run was his second one. See what his numbers were in the Cardinals series. Well, he's got a little streak going for him right now.
It's a tough decision now for Ryan Sandberg. 2 outs. Ryan Howard will be able to go on contact, but if you get him thrown out at the plate, then you lead off with the pitcher next day.
The left-handed hitting Jonathan Pettibone.
Yes.
Right-handed throwing, left-handed hitting.
Which means he'll have a guard on that arm for him. I was thinking he looks like Ryan Madson out there. He does this, throws right, bats left like Madson did.
2-0 the count to Kratz. Phillies have hit 14 home runs this year, including Kratz's last night. That's 10th most in the National League. 10th in runs with 70. And now Burnett asked Martin to come out. They didn't seem like they were on the same page after that last pitch. Burnett signaled something to Russell Martin. Clint Hurdle, one of the reasons why Russell Martin was brought over from the Yankees. Not as much for his offense, because his offensive skills have diminished somewhat over the last few years, but you know, Clint thought it would be he'd be a good guy to have with a young staff. Obviously you've got the veteran Burnett, but with a young staff, kind of nurture them through. 2-0 pitch coming to Kratz. Breaking ball, that one's in for a strike. It's 2-1.
That's not fair. Should be able to drop that on a hitter 2-0.
Howard's at second. Michael Young's at first.
Fastball, curveball so far from A.J. Burnett. He's not going to deviate from that much.
Throws him another curveball, low, 3-1.
He knows he has a base open right now. That may have been one of the things they just talked about. Say you have a base open because even though it's not technically open, you can walk him and you'll load him up for the pitcher with 2 outs. So you don't have to give in here with a fastball.
He does, and Kratz sends one to the air to straightaway center field. McCutcheon going back. Does he have room? He does. And he makes the catch a couple steps from the wall, and the side is retired. Kratz had one of those in last night's ball game early on. Phillies leave 2. We go to the 3rd. Com. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, here's the question. Which Mets pitcher gave up Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit? Wheels is nodding yes, so he must have watched that game or listened to it.
I know where it was, but the irony of that was he got 2,999 here at Veterans Stadium. They took him out of the game, and then the great Roberto went back to Pittsburgh and got that hit. And of course, as everyone knows, that was his last hit.
Final hit.
He died in the offseason at refuge mission to Nicaragua for the earthquake. But he finished his career with 3,000 hits. Amazing. What a player. Tom, he was one of the most underrated players ever, probably, because he played in Pittsburgh. If he'd have played in New York, Willie Mickey and the Duke, been right there with him.
And he could have, because he was the property of the Brooklyn Dodgers. The Pirates took him in what was then the Rule 5 draft.
He was so good.
Because Branch Rickey moved from the Pirates. Moved from the Dodgers. I don't know if he went from the Dodgers directly to the Pirates, but he was with the Pirates and selected Roberto Clemente.
Yep.
A.J. Burnett leads it off here in the top of the third against Jonathan Pettibone. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Burnett does not have a hit this year. He's 0 for 7. Goes after a high fastball. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard down in D.C., the Cardinals have jumped out to a 2-0 lead over the Nats. I don't know if you saw any of the stories coming out of that series against the Mets, but things are not as hunky-dory in D.C. as you might think.
Well, you don't win the pennant in April. Rarely.
4 strikeouts now for Burnett, or for Pettibone, excuse me, as he gets Burnett.
Can happen, but not that often.
1 out. We go back to the top of the order. I want to find out a little bit more about Jonathan Pettibone. When he was drafted out of high school, he was scheduled to go to the University of California. And Mike Drago, who's been covering the Reading Phillies and the Reading Fightin' Phils for a long time, a very good writer for the Reading Eagle. As that first pitch is over for a strike. I've known Mike for a long time. Mike did a story on Pettibone that talked about his eventual signing with the Phillies. He signed for a bonus of $500,000 instead of going to the University of California. The 0-1 pitch to Marte, grounded towards shortstop. Rollins has it, and there are 2 outs. Anyway, the story goes that Pettibone was trying to decide should he go to college or sign with the Phillies. Well, the Phillies pulled out all kinds of stops to get him to sign. They brought him into Dodger Stadium for a bullpen session where he got to meet and see some of the Phillies players. They also had Kyle Kendrick and Cole Hamels call him after he was drafted with sort of a recruiting conversation. Thought that was kind of neat. He eventually signed with the Phillies and has been through their system, and now making his major league debut at the age of 22.
They were recruiting against the college recruiters.
They were,
in a way,
which happens. Obviously, the same thing happened with Cole and with Kyle during their after they were drafted. That ball is hit the opposite way. Dominic Brown is there, and a very easy top of the third for Jonathan Pettibone. Phillies watch the Pirates go down in order. We head to the bottom of the third. Wheels just in time to get out of here before the Zombies roll in to the ballpark. Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Bottom of the third. Jonathan Pettibone will make his first major league at bat. It'll be Pettibone, Jimmy Rollins, and John Mayberry to start things off.
And have that elbow pad on there for him on the right arm.
5 for 21 as a minor leaguer, Wheels.
It's not bad. They don't hit that much in the minors anymore because the DH is prevalent, right?
Yeah, if you play in an American League town on certain levels, then you use the DH. If you play in National League town, then the pitcher hits. But that's not the case on every level. Some levels, it's just the DH.
And there's more and more talk about that. The DH is coming to the National League. Every time I read that, I think, no, please.
2-0 the count to Pettibone. And now it's 3-0.
Stand there. Don't hurt your hand swinging.
Ow. 5-3 ball counts already for Burnett.
To a little get it over 91 there.
I would think he's, well, I don't know, 3-1. I would think he's taken again. And he is. Ball 4, and he's aboard. Second walk issued by Burnett. His family enjoys that. His dad, Jay, is the one in the red pullover and the red Phillies cap.
Get him a jacket. There you go.
All right, let's see if he can get the jacket on more than Jose Fernandez could in Miami last year.
That's his dad right there.
Yeah.
I was going to put an arrow on there, but I might be challenged.
Is that what you've decided to use?
No,
the arrow?
I was going to do it, but next time. All right, now wait a minute. There we go. There's Dad.
That's a nice arrow,
Thank
Wheels.
You. All right.
Very nice.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a great feeling that was.
All right, next we're going to try to get Sarge to put the arrow up there.
Okay.
Blue Jay pitches in the dirt, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
What a play that was by Russell Martin.
Well, he does have that gold seal on his chest protector.
Look at this. It's just selling out on a breaking ball, knowing it's got a chance to be in the dirt, and it was.
Pettibone not being held on at first. Rollins grounds one foul.
You know what they say, if you walk the pitcher gets on to lead off an inning, you should do some damage.
You going to score 8?
No, I don't see getting 8 off this guy, but 1 or 2 would be nice. Clint loves that bubble gum.
He does work the gum. Rollins hits it through the hole on the right side, of base hit. Pettibone's going to stop at second. So he's at first and second with nobody out.
I don't know that it's going to happen, but having watched thousands and thousands of games, when that pitcher walks to lead off an inning, the team scores so many times. Good base running right there. Make sure it gets by him.
He's still talking about that pitch that he struck out on. He's still talking about it.
And that pitch was high. I even saw it. I saw it on the board. I don't care what they said upstairs. It was high.
Juan Samuel always with a waiting ear.
Good listener. Sammy was like that when he was a young kid. He was always a good listener. One to learn all the time.
There's John Mayberry. Struck out his only time up. He's 0 for 1. And he takes low. 1 ball and no strikes. 47 pitches for A.J. Burnett. Makes his offseason home in Maryland.
He's from Little Rock, Arkansas. North Little Rock.
Ground ball towards shortstop. That might be 2. Barmes slow to second for 1. Not in time to turn the double play. 6-4 on the putout at second base. Over to third goes Pettibone. First to third now for Utley.
Yeah, that should be a double play. As Tom said, a little bit slow here on the exchange. Good job by Walker to get out of the way. Took the throw at the back of the bag and used it for protection. Just couldn't quite get Mayberry also down the line. Ball wasn't really hit that hard. I think that's one of the reasons why it looked like everything was kind of slow then. It wasn't a real hard hit one hop double play ball.
Yeah, I don't know if and I said Barmas was slow. I don't know if he could have charged it anymore. I think he had to wait.
Yeah, he did, and as I said, it wasn't hit that hard.
Utley is the batter. He fly to left his only time up. 0 for 1.
Those outfielders are pretty deep. You certainly don't want to run Pettibone into contact here on a fly ball to the outfield, and yet you want to get a run. So it's another tough decision for Ryan Sandberg down at third base, who's getting behind him down there to really get a good look on any fly ball that would be hit out there.
Over to first. Mayberry is back. Charlie was asked today about Chase Utley's base running mistake last night, coupled with the defensive mistake the other night where he went the wrong way on a ground ball with Cliff Lee on the mound. He was asked, do you say anything to him? He just laughed. He shook his head. He said, no, you don't say anything to him. He knows.
He was ticked off last night at himself.
On the inside corner, it's 1-1.
He certainly scored. He certainly would have scored if that ball had dropped. He was running hard with one out.
He would have been in the dugout if it had dropped.
He certainly wasn't going slow.
But television, the national television cameras caught Chase in between innings, and he was talking to himself and really everybody else that listened.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do a whole lot of that. Another throw over, and Mayberry's back without a tag.
To say he is not expressive is an understatement. Here's the look. He just calling himself names and what did I forget the outs?
He was talking to Ben Revere in the dugout, and Ben was just listening. Ben looked like a little kid listening. Talking to Jimmy Rollins out at second base right after that shot. In the dirt, gets away from Martin. Here comes Pettibone. He's going to score the tying run. It's a 1-1 ball game.
There's one of them where the pitcher gets on to start the inning.
Up to second goes Mayberry.
Well, he couldn't block that curveball. Martin did a really good job on one before. Pettibone pretty excited, scores a run. But that was almost the same one, and you see he tried to shift and get his body behind it. Couldn't do it, and no problem for him to walk home with the first run of the game.
His technique was good. He was able to give himself a good start over third.
Yeah, when you see it over by the dugout, you think, I can make this.
Keep that jacket on, at least for the time being. It's 2-1 to Utley with a runner at second. 1-1 game. Inside, 3-1. Wheels pitcher's hit. Carl Graver, our statistician, who has done some stats for minor league games before. Now this was different, I think, when I was in the Eastern League. Maybe it wasn't. Pitchers hit in the International League when two National League teams play. When when a National League team and an American League team play, then the DH is in place.
No matter what.
No matter what. Utley fouls away. Thank you, Carl.
So if an American League franchise comes into Lehigh Valley, it's the DH. No matter what, even though you're the home team.
You have Carl thinking. Folks can't see Carl sitting next to us, but Carl is thinking right now. Well, I believe that is correct.
That's what the nuns used to tell us. Ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that.
The only problem is the person you're asking questions to, Wheels, does not have a microphone in front of him.
No, I was asking you.
Oh.
You could relay it.
3-2 the count to Utley. And a called strike 3.
He thought he was going to get a hook. You could tell. It almost looked like he just fooled him with a fastball right down the middle. That really upsets Utley, because I think he thought he was going to get a 3-2 curveball. He gets a fastball right there, unless he thought maybe it was going to be low and hoped it was low.
Well, now 2 outs. Ryan Howard is up. Howard singled his first time to the plate. Base hit should give the Phillies the lead here, with Mayberry at second, going on contact with 2 outs.
Yeah, they don't have the full overshift on right now with the runner at second. I don't know why they're even worried about it. 2 outs. You would think if they believe in that 3-man overshift with 2 outs, you don't hold a runner on with 2 outs because he's going to go anyway. Right?
You are correct.
You wouldn't think you would even worry about it.
Unless this is just the way they want Barmes set up.
Yeah, but before when Ryan hit, they were all over on the other side. And they're throwing him stuff that he can pull, breaking balls. See where he is right there. Before he was over there. Oh, this is getting easy now. Got it now. Dangerous.
He tried to hold up, but he went around, according to the third base umpire. And it's back-to-back strikeouts against the 3 and 4 hitters for A.J. Burnett. Phillies get 1. They leave 1 in scoring position. We've completed 3. Pirates 1, Phillies 1. Delivered in all the flavors you love by who but W.B. Mason. It's a 1-1 ball game, top of the 4th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Some of the folks sitting over the top or standing over the top of the bullpen out at Ashburn Alley, watching the major league debut of Jonathan Pettibone. He'll face Andrew McCutchen, Garrett Jones, and Neil Walker here in the 4th. A reminder that this is Earth Week. Don't toss that paint can. U.S. owners throw out 64 million gallons of unused paint yearly. Store it properly or donate it. Green is universal. McCutchen takes ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Fly ball out to right center field. Playable for Mayberry. Pettibone now has retired 5 in a row. And it'll bring Garrett Jones to the plate. Sarge, the scouting report on Pettibone is that, well, it's a long scouting report, but one of the things they say is that he's unflappable, like nothing bothers him.
Yeah, well, he's throwing the ball hard. Just needs to keep it down in the zone there. But, you know, for the first game here and so far, I think he's doing a good job.
Play of the night was with Garrett Jones at the plate in the first inning when John Mayberry robbed him of an RBI extra base hit by making a diving play.
Yeah, well, one of the things too you might be concerned about is so many balls have been squared up. When you don't know, and hitting against a pitcher from the first time, you're a little bit reluctant to really charge the outside part of the plate.
Well, that brings us to our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
This is a ball here that you really had to dive for. keeps his eyes right on it, making sure that he keeps the ball in the glove there.
Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Phillies are not settled on right field as they move forward in 2013. Delman Young continues to rehab down in Florida. There's a foul tip hung on to by Kratz. 5 strikeouts now for Pettibone. There are 2 outs here in the 4th.
Well, one thing, will help him. He'll feel like he belongs. Good movement on that fastball. A little high in the zone, however. Great concentration.
Neil Walker was the second guy to go down on strikes against Pettibone. That was back in the 2nd. And he takes strike 1. That was a cutter or slider.
Yeah, I thought it was more of a slider just because of a little downward movement. Only moved a little bit, however.
Out toward the alleyway in left center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Cut off by Dominic Brown, but Walker's going to get to second with a 2-out double.
That's one of the things he will learn, and that would be keep that ball down just a little bit with that same movement. Get it up high. Every now and then you can get away with it, but for the most part, when you're throwing up in this particular area, you got to look out for guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. There is that ball right in the gap in left center.
Pettibone's pitch total right now 53 with 2 outs here in the 4th. Pedro Alvarez homered against him his first time up.
No, this is valuable for him. Doesn't matter really what you've done in the minor leagues as opposed to just winning a lot of games or striking out a lot of hitters. A lot has to do with the confidence of a particular pitcher and makeup when they bring them up. Well, they'd rather bring up a guy that has good makeup, that knows no matter what, whether it's good or bad, that he's going to be okay. Those are the guys they want to try and bring up. And hopefully having a good game.
A PHI 2-1 to Alvarez. Well, speaking of having a good game, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in the Eastern League, that's AA, Sarge, where the Reading Phillies are playing the Harrisburg Senators. Jesse Biddle has faced 12 batters tonight. He has struck out 9 of the 12.
Wow. Wow.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Don't care what league you're in, when you're doing something like that, that is just terrific. Oh, that's like hitters going up with no bat.
Basically. That's like Little League is what that is.
9 Ks, 12 batters.
2-2 to Alvarez. Pettibone looks back at second. And a swing and a miss. He got him. It was up in the zone. That was the slider from Pettibone. He has 6 strikeouts through 4 innings tonight. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, and numbers 5 and 6 in the strikeout column for Pettibone. A.J. Burnett will face Michael Young, Dominic Brown, and Ben Revere. So many of us who are touched by everything that happened over the last 10 days, or 7 days, excuse me, up in Boston. Well, there's a Philadelphia connection to that whole story, and for that, let's send it over to Murph. Murph?
All right, thank you very much, Tom. It is hard to believe it has only been a week since the tragedies up in Boston at the end of the Boston Marathon, and I'm with two women from Mount Airy who were up in Boston running the Boston Marathon. This is Martha and Elisa, and they were about 1,000 yards from the finish line when the first blast went off. And I'm going to let Martha start telling the story, because at that moment you had no idea what was happening, but you were pulled off the course. Tell us a little bit.
Well, we knew something was wrong by mile 24. There were helicopters, there were sirens. We knew something was wrong, but we had no idea. You know, sometimes people get dehydrated, and then it just stopped. So we went off, we were cold, we were wet, and the thing that was most harrowing is we started seeing all these spectators with their children running towards us. And really it was just a state of panic, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what do we do? Where do we go? There's nowhere to go. And Elisa, my buddy here, was not in good shape. She was queasy. We had just run 25.5 miles, so we just were looking. Now, the amazing thing is people really came out of the woodwork to help. So we stopped several people. The cell towers were closed, so we kept trying to text and find our family. And I kept trying to quell the panic, because our families were waiting at the finish line, and we knew that. And then when we heard that there had been an explosion, we thought, well, we just have to get to our families. So the great thing was, we pulled over to talk to this couple, and this guy said, Elise was sitting on the curb with her head between her knees, shivering, freezing, queasy, and he said, is she okay? And I said, well, she doesn't feel very well. She just ran 25.5 miles, and he took off this Red Sox jacket and gave it to her. And we stood there for about 20 minutes with him, trying to find our families, they were hugging us and saying, don't panic, we don't know anything. And as we were walking off, Elisa tried to give him this jacket back. And he said, I think she needs it more than I do. And it was just this incredible act of generosity.
Obviously, Phillies fans from Mount Airy, and in that moment, a moment of kindness, Elisa, when someone reaches out to you, and then wouldn't take the jacket back. What are your thoughts about that man who, at this point, you don't even know who he is, right?
Right. No, I mean, it was so kind. And he was one of so many people who were so kind. That was one of the things about that whole day. I mean, it was a horrible ending, horrible and awful. But there were so many kind and generous people right there, and even along the whole route. So, and it was cold out, and he had short sleeves. So really, this jacket is such a symbol of generosity and goodness. We would love to be able to find this gentleman and to give him a Phillies jacket.
Well, we are going to try and help make that happen. We should point out that he asked you to wear that jacket to a Phillies game, and that you promised that you would, and that you were here. So, Tom, first of all, let me say that on behalf of the Phillies organization, we're so glad that you can be here tonight, and so glad that everything was okay with the dozens of people that were waiting for you guys at the finish line. And Tom, we want to make that happen. We'd like to reconnect with this gentleman in Boston, so we're going to implore the help from our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet, up there in New England, and get this interview up to them and see if we can find him. And if we do, we're going to send that man a Phillies jacket on behalf of the Phillies organization. So it's just an amazing story. Good to have you both here. And perhaps next year you'll run in that Boston Marathon again. I know you're talking about it, so maybe they will. Tom, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. It's a great story.
Wow.
And hopefully the gentleman who did give the jacket to Elisa will see that she's wearing it at a Phillies game, and that she would like to repay his gratitude, or her gratitude toward him, as Ben Revere has that ball fouled off his foot. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. There have been so many stories that have come out of Boston, not only as the week moved on, but also from what happened on Monday at the marathon. And this is one of the billboards that's up here in the Delaware Valley. Hashtag Boston Strong. From one tough city to another, stay strong. Philly loves Boston. And there have been so many stories about different areas of the United States connecting with the city of Boston. And this is one of those stories right here of the folks in Boston connecting with the folks here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, very good to see cities pulling together. People pulling together when things happen like that. You know how cold it gets up there in Boston for the gentleman to give his jacket up. Just really kind of shows you what things are all about.
There's a base hit to right field. Rounding third and being held there is Young. So the Phillies will have the bases loaded with nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And Eric Kratz is coming to the plate. Ben Revere with his 5th hit of this homestand. He's starting to churn a little bit. He's probably in a little pain from that foul ball off his foot.
Yeah, well, he'll feel a little better after that base hit. But again, you get hit anywhere. Take a look at this as the foul ball goes off of his foot. Yeah, that makes you jump up. And now there's that base hit. Now that foot's going to feel a lot better, trust me, as he goes into first base.
Well, here's Kratz with nobody out and the bases loaded. Each team with 4 hits. The Phillies trying to break this 1-all tie. Kratz homered in last night's ball game. He cracks the first pitch fastball foul. He got all curveballs until the last pitch in his last at bat.
Yeah, got that fastball and was right on it. Tell you, AJ having though a pretty good curveball. Didn't think he'd have a great curveball in this cold weather, but he's snapping it off. He has some hard break on it after he struck out Ryan Howard on a check swing on one of those.
Outside, 1-1 to Kratz. Eric Kratz is 1 for 4 lifetime against AJ Burnett. Burnett out there, short sleeves. Hasn't been blowing on his hand too much. Kratz trying to keep his hand warm, also in short sleeves on a cool night here in Philadelphia. It's the kind of spot where you try to stay cool.
Yeah. Well, got to have your game plan together. Every pitch he's looking for. Don't want to look for that breaking ball that he throws. You want to adjust to that. And you would like for the breaking ball to be up in the zone as opposed to down.
Well, 68 pitches for Burnett, 31 balls, 37 strikes.
He's been getting a lot of strikeouts so far this year.
Michael Young's at third, Dominic Brown's at second, and Ben Revere's at first. The ball in the gaps should clear the bases. Breaking ball, and that one's over for a strike.
Filthy. Tell you, when you first see that as a hitter, you're thinking a fastball. And in an area where it's up near the chest of the head area, you're going to bail out of there. That's why it's so important to pick up that spin as quick as you can. Don't see any spin, should be a fastball.
Another breaking pitch, fouled at the plate.
Well, that's where that good arm motion comes in with a pitcher that has a good fastball. You're looking at the arm motion thinking, here comes a fastball. That's why they'll tell you that that changeup is such an effective pitch. Just disappears when you get ready to try and hit it, especially if you're throwing 94, 95.
Breaking ball, line foul, just foul down the left field line.
Wow.
May not have cleared the bases, but it would have scored 2.
Boy, just missed from getting that in there. Good swing. Just a little quick on that. You can see it is clearly foul. Ball hooking all the way. We take a look at Kratz. Kind of looking down, contemplating like what if.
Ground ball foul again. For years, StubHub has been the place to find great Phillies tickets. And this season, you can get more with your tickets Thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today.
Kind of surprised AJ hasn't gone to a different pitch like a high fastball away. He's thrown about 3-4 breaking balls there in a row.
That looked like a changeup. And I don't know how many changeups he's thrown tonight. It hasn't been more than 4 or 5.
Well, Pratt's having a real good at bat and kind of making him throw those pitches by the way that he's swinging. Looking for solid contact.
Breaking ball hit foul. That's hit foul. The second base umpire is the one who's making the call, and it's the right call. It hit Kratz twice. Dan Iassogna is the second base umpire. Clint Hurdle's going to come out and just ask about it. It's the right call. Look at it on the replay.
Hey, there's foul ball right away since it did hit right off of the fist area. Surprised though, Kratz kept running. Maybe just didn't want to take any chances. But clearly hitting off of what appeared to be his hand somewhere. Take a look at it as you see a one-hand swing and comes right up and hits it. Well, we talk about balance when you're hitting. That particular swing there, he was off balance. But pretty good, though, because he stays alive following that curveball off.
To it, to the count to Kratz. Staying alive. It probably was ball 3, but he was taking no chances.
Well, it's hard when you're looking at that breaking ball because it's breaking. You're hoping that it's not going to be breaking out over the plate, but you'd rather stay alive there, following them off, taking a chance on the umpire, calling it a ball, unless you know it's clearly a ball.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a fastball in tight. 1 away. And Pettibone's going to come up for the second time. 5 strikeouts for Burnett.
But that's a tough pitch there. Two-seamer running in on his hands. That was a ball, too. But I guess A.J. felt nothing else he could do. Throwing all those curveballs. Just didn't hang one there for Kratz.
Well, it's a 10-pitch at bat. Now Pettibone, who walked and scored the only run for the Phillies. Bases loaded, 1 out. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Burnett fell behind 3-0 the last time Pettibone was up. Then he threw a strike and then walked him on the 5th pitch.
Well, he'll be feeling a little strong right now, A.J. Burnett. After he gets Kratz out, he'll get a little bit stronger. Good eye.
Outside corner, 1-2.
He's called that borderline high pitch. Called that on Ryan Howard, a couple of them. Usually pitchers don't get that high fastball. You can see too against Kratz really trying to get that curveball up where he didn't bounce it. Does throw it so hard when it hits the ground, it has a tendency to get away from the catcher.
Swing and a miss. 91-mile-an-hour sinker. 6 strikeouts for Burnett. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. By Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most innovative lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. All right, Sarge, now it's left to Jimmy Rollins with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Well, these are the situations he's usually pretty good in. One of the reasons he drives in a lot of runs from that leadoff spot are just these situations.
Rollins takes at the knees. It's 0-1.
Pretty good sinker. You can just see the movement when you're looking at the ball, the way it dives down and away from the left-handed hitter.
In the dirt, Martin able to block it. It's 1-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying there. He's kind of afraid to really throw that breaking ball, and if he does, he wants it up. As it hits that ground, it has a tendency to go on and be a wild pitch. That swing there for me, more of a kind of an upper cut swing. You know, again, with the bases loaded, after you give yourself a shot or two, now you want to cut it down and try and stay up the middle.
In the dirt again, 2-2 the count.
There you go. There's that. One of the reasons I thought he'd have a difficult time. He started off pretty early. The curveball, getting it over the plate. Kind of lost the feel for it now. Bouncing them in the dirt. Big at bat.
Yeah, Jimmy Rollins has faced Burnett now 48 times in his career. He's 12 for 48 with a home run. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count. Oh, it hit him. Wow. And that'll force in a run. Rollins could not get out of the way. That ball just kept on hunting after him.
Yeah, he tried that little two-seamer, the one that kind of runs back. But he started it where it kind of just seemed, he just hooked it with his arm and just kept going at J-Roll. Take a look at it. See what he did, though, he just starts that too far inside. Take a look at it again, and it, boy, almost hits him right there in the knee, maybe a little bit below it.
Yeah, it looked like it hit him right on the shin. That is painful. A trip to the mound to talk to A.J. Burnett with 2 outs and the bases still loaded here in the bottom of the 4th. Well, at least he's smiling, Sarge.
Yeah, well, when you get an RBI there with the bases loaded, it doesn't hurt as much. Only for
a day
or so.
Here's Mayberry. Mayberry is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fielder's choice with Brown on third and a strike. It's 0-1. Brown's at third, Revere's at second, Rollins at first. Breaking ball that didn't break all the way. There's a hefty number of pitches Burnett's thrown in this inning. 10 pitches alone to Kratz.
See, and he's used to getting that breaking ball over. That's more or less kind of his out pitch. Even though he has a good fastball, he gets those swings and check swings on that breaking pitch.
Like that one?
I took some off of that. That's where Mayberry again, just coming off the ball. No, that's a swing there as if he's anticipating a ball that would be on the inside. So you got to keep the shoulder going right toward the pitcher. React inside, looking to hit it up the middle or away.
Lays off. It's 2-2. This inning is nearly 20 minutes in length. And it may be the last one for Burnett, the way he's throwing. He's at 89 pitches for the night. This will be the 90th pitch. Ray Searage, who is just below Clint Hurdle, shaking his head. He's the pitching coach. He's already been out one time.
Struggling with that control. A.J. Burnett right now. That was a ball that was up and in.
Oof, 33 pitches this inning.
Yeah, that's what you like. I mean, that's not going to always happen, but when you can go up there and really manufacture at bats to have a pitcher throw that many pitches, that means that you are having good at bats. Not only that, you're wearing him down mentally on that mound. Now he's crying. He wanted that one. Just off the plate.
But Hurdle yelling, "Let's go" to Mike Muklinski.
Yeah.
He wanted him to ring him up, as he said.
When he goes and sees that on the tape, Clint will know that that was clearly outside.
Well, the runners will be off with the count 3-2 with 2 outs. Mayberry ready. Phillies up by 1. And he did go that time. 94 on that fastball, talon away. And the side is retired. The Phillies do leave him loaded. Burnett strikes out 3 in the inning. But the Phils score a run to take the lead in what was a 20-minute half inning. It's against the Marlins. It begins Thursday the 2nd, and it wraps up Sunday the 5th. It's the StubHub Mother's Appreciation Day Chase Utley tote bag, which is free to women 15 and over. Get your tickets now for that 4-game set against the Marlins by going to Phillies.com. On to the 5th. Jonathan Pettibone has the lead to work with. It's a 2-1 ball game. He'll face Russell Martin, who started off, and he delivers the strike on the first pitch. Pettibone's had to sit for 20 minutes. Pettibone last year finished up the 2012 season with Lehigh Valley, and he was throwing very well, not only when he was promoted, but it continued with the Iron Pigs. He went 4-1 with an ERA of 2.25, and that gave the Phillies hope that he could start the year with the Iron Pigs. Now, he didn't throw all that well in his first 2 starts. But tonight, he looks pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I'm telling you, what they probably were looking at is his makeup, strong arm, Like a lot of young pitchers, you got to have the command. And once you are able to get your command, if you look at Rich Doobie, pitching coach, with that strong arm.
Now that ball is well hit, and it's going to tie the ball game up. Russell Martin went down to get that one. It's his second home run. It's a 2-2 game.
And the experience, too, though, that he'll learn up here will be just invaluable as another ball comes in after hit out of the ballpark. It's got to be bad location. Take a look at it, and he's all over it. Knew it was gone when he hit it.
So 2 solo home runs for the Pirates. Here's Barmes. Barmes' his first time up struck out. Out of play, and it's 0-2. A.J. Burnett's going to put a helmet on. He's going to get a chance to bat, and he'll stay in this ball game.
Yeah. Well, with him being your number 1 pitcher, you always want to try and get him in a situation where he has a chance to win the ball game, meaning you don't want to really take him out before those.
That ball's hit toward the alley in left center field. Dominic Brown dives for it, can't get it. Revere cuts it off and makes the throw in, so Barmes holds up at first. Well, he had him buried. No balls and 2 strikes. And he was able to finish him off. A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designated driver.
Tell you what, with that sore back out in left field with Dominic Brown, those aren't the kind of balls you want to take off in the air with. And you just join yourself in the outfield. You got a chance to be able to catch it, okay, but you just, that's a long way to dive to be able to catch that ball.
Burnett squares, takes outside, 1-0. Fortunately for Dominic Brown, Ben Revere was there to back it up.
Yeah, and that is the good thing. I mean, you've gone over that, before with him. You got to realize and know when you can get a line drive or a fly ball, when you can't. The situation when you're doing it. If Ben's not there, automatic double. But again, that's your center fielder. He's supposed to be covering you when you dive for a ball, just for that reason.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Burnett. And he bunts it again. This time it's in play. And Pettibone will throw him out. The sacrifice is successful. Up to second goes Barmes. And 1 away. 1-4 on the putout. And Marte will bat for the 3rd time. Kratz will go out to the mound to talk with Pettibone. Chase Utley part of that conversation. A reminder that groups of 25 or more, there are good spots available to purchase some tickets here at Citizens Bank Park. In fact, there's some great areas that you can take advantage of. Check out Phillies.com for all the details. There's not only recognition, which we just saw up on the board a few minutes ago, but special discounts. What better way to come to the ballpark with friends, family, or business associates? Marte shows bunt and takes low. It's 1-0.
Hey, this Marte kid looks like he has pretty good ability out there in left field.
Some of the plays he's made, he's kind of looked like a center fielder as far as his reaction to
Yeah,
it.
well, he actually has that quick first step. And when you have that, again, you can overcome mistakes. But he's been moving in the right directions when balls have been hit out there, either left-handed, right-handed.
Oh, Rich Doobie's calling the phone, so Rod Nichols is there, and they're going to get Raul Valdez up and throwing with one out here in the top of the fifth in a 2-2 game. Pettibone's lost his command a little bit in this inning. Outside, 3-0.
Now this is when you got to take your time. You don't want this one to get away from you. He's been doing pretty good up to this point in terms of, being able to mix in some strikes. Boy, just let that one go free and easy at 92. Almost no effort at all. And once he gets where he feels like that and he can throw that way, boy, it's going to be a lot, he'll have a lot better feeling on that mound.
Ground ball left side. Varmus crosses in front of Rollins, and they throw over to first just in time to get Marte. So 2 outs here in the fifth.
J-Ro didn't waste any time getting it over to first base. There's some of that speed I was talking about there with Marte. That's a given too, though. Should be able to hustle every single time that you hit the ball.
Well, now with 2 outs, here comes Snyder. He's 0 for 2. He's fly to center, fly to left. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. To the count. To the count. Snyder asked for time. Pettibone working from the stretch.
That'll get your attention.
Not a bad idea. Whether he did it on purpose, it's not a bad idea.
Well, I'm sure that he didn't do it on purpose, but you're right. Well, and again, that's what makes it tough when you're hitting. The balls that you're not sure that are coming up that high. That makes it where you don't want to be diving on the outside corner.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball right side. Utley is there. And he'll throw out Snyder, and the side is retired. The Pirates do tie it up with the long ball. The home run by Russell Martin, but a nice job by Pettibone to limit the damage. We go to the bottom of the fifth, all evened up at 2. $4 million contract. Plus, Jimmy Rollins and his wife help make life better for injured animals in the region. Get all this and more on Phillies Clubhouse, presented by Mercedes-Benz, tonight at 11, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Jonathan Pettibone has allowed 6 hits, 2 home runs through 5 innings. He made some good pitches after that home run, Sarge, in the last inning.
Yeah, he sure did. A great changeup to get himself out of trouble there with that 4-3 ground ball. And that's after a pitch up and in, so he needs to foul that one.
Well, Chase Utley will lead it off for the Phillies. They had the bases loaded and nobody out in the 4th. They scored a run to take the lead. Now we're tied at 2. Phillies are 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position in this ball game. So they've had chances against A.J. Burnett. Now the first pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1. By the way, we mentioned before how Jesse Biddle had struck out 9 of the first 12 batters he faced. Well, he's got 1 out in the 7th inning. He has 14 strikeouts, and he just allowed his first hit. Former #1 pick for the Phillies, just 21 years old.
Still, though, 14 strikeouts. A lot of strikeouts to have in a ball game.
Utley pulls one foul, but it's 0-2. Well, here's his full line, Sarge. He also is 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and a run scored. Have a night, kid.
Wow. Boy, he can hit too. That's getting it done.
He said he's just 21 years old, #1 pick for the Phillies. He's playing for the Reading Fightin' Phils. As Utley breaks his bat and rolls it inside the bag. Marte getting to it quickly, and Utley's going to put the brakes on. And the throw was a little high. That kid can move in the outfield.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. That's preventing a double right there from Utley. He hit it right down the line. He was getting ready to go, but he hesitated. He already knew that Marte was going to be getting to the ball. He looked up, decided, well, I better get back. Take a look at it right off the end of the bat there as it shatters. Good balance. Now he's taking off right now. He's thinking double all the way. Ball not hit all that hard, but look what's coming into your pitcher there. Well, we didn't see it, but Marte.
Yeah, he was there.
Made a good throw.
There's Ryan Howard. Howard is 1 for 2. Inside, 1-0.
Yeah, he may not be able to last this inning. He's been pretty wild. That two-seamer that he usually throws, it starts at the hitter's hip and then moves back. It's just about disappeared for him so far.
Vinny Mazzaro is warming in the pen for the Pirates.
I got to tell you, that's impressive, getting to the ball that quick to preventing a double. That's a big situation. Those are some of the things that don't show up in the box scores. It means the difference between winning and losing.
Utley broke, then stopped, pitches inside, 2-0. Update down in D.C. The Nationals have scored 2. Cardinals lead it 3-2. That's in the bottom of the 6th. Beltran continues to swing the hot bat. He's 2 for 3. Back toward the middle. Oh, what a play by Barmes. He flips to second in time to get Utley.
Yeah, that's definitely being robbed there without a doubt.
6-5 on the putout.
Still got to like it, though. He's making solid contact. And Ryan Howard is doing this. Take a look at this play as he goes all out. Just trying to really get it out in that situation. Thought it was going to end up in center field. Pretty good range right there as he collects himself to force out Utley at second base.
Michael Young is 1 for 2. Young singled his last time up. Now has hit in 13 straight. Ties Starlin Castro with the active lead at baseball in the National League. Ground ball towards shortstop. That could be 2. And it will be 2. 6-4-3 in the double play. So the Phillies get the leadoff single by Utley. They can't push anything across the plate against A.J. Burnett. And that'll take us to the 6th. Changer of the week is moving right on from career win number 200. The dominating right-hander was dealing Friday night against the Cards, and their run-scoring lineup from start to finish. Roy Halladay allowed a minimal 2 hits and delivered 6 strikeouts as he shuffled through 7 strong innings. St. Louis fell to the Phillies. The rain fell in the 7th, giving Doc his 67th career complete game. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross, changing the game. Well, Roy Halladay, like everyone else, is sitting and watching Jonathan Pettibone make his major league debut, the 22-year-old. Pettibone will face Andrew McCutchen, Garrett Jones, Neil Walker as we start the 6th inning. Valdez continues to throw in the bullpen. The first pitch just inside a little bit, and it's 1-0. I think the leash will be a little short here in this inning, but they'll give him a chance to, work his way through the 6th.
Change up there. I think you're right about that, and we'll be on a short leash. Just doesn't want to start walking a lot of batters. Make them hit to get on. Can't aim it, you got to throw it.
I think a lot of times, Sarge, sometimes coaches and managers worry about a pitcher making his major league debut, that at this point the adrenaline rush is starting to wind down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Over to third, to his right, a step, Michael Young. Wednesday, when the Phillies take on the Pirates, all fans, not just some of the fans, all fans coming to the ballpark will receive the MLB Network sling bag, the Phillies logo in the bottom right corner. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Charlie Manuel going out. Yep, that's going to be it. He's going to go to the bullpen with Garrett Jones and Neil Walker due up. So the debut for Jonathan Pettibone is complete. They'll give the baseball to Charlie Manuel. His night is done. A pretty nice job. He'll get a nice round of applause as he exits the ballpark. His family very happy with what they saw, and they should be. Jonathan Pettibone, all of 22 years old, came out tonight, scattered 6 hits and 2 runs over 5 1/3, and he'll leave with an AT&T call to the bullpen. Raul Valdez is going to come in for the Phils with 1 out here in the 6th. Way to Raul Valdez with one out here at the top of the sixth, and he's going to remember his major league debut for a long time, but he's going to remember it, Sarge, because he pitched very well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This is a dream come true for you once you get to the major leagues, and you're always thinking that first hitter that I'm going to strike out. Don't want to think about the first home run, but I thought he did himself well. Composure, good balance out there on the mound, had some shaky moments. But all in all, I think it's a great performance, and that'll do him some good, whether or not he's here or not. He can build on that.
Well, 6 strikeouts and 5 1/3. Now, he took the place of the guy he's chatting with right now, John Lannon, who's going to be out for a while. So whether it's Pettibone's spot or someone else's spot, there is going to be a spot.
Yeah, well, he looked good, so he didn't hurt his chances, that's for sure.
Valdez with an ERA of 11. Delivers a strike. It's 1-2. By the way, Jesse Biddle has struck out 16 through 7.
Who's he pitching against?
The Harrisburg Senators. That's the Nationals AA team. Outside, 2-2.
Wow. 14 strikeouts. It's 14 strikeouts.
No, 16.
16.
Yeah, 16.
Should be playing a different game up there. They using bats up there?
he throws hard.
Obviously. Oh, boy.
So 16 of the 21 outs he's recorded are strikeouts. I would think he's done after 7 innings.
That's when you're having fun.
Swing and a miss. Jones, the 7th strikeout victim of the night for Phil's pitching.
Now take a look at this strikeout here. Bam! As he pitches on the outside part of the plate.
Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team, 1, 2, 3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. Here's Walker, and he fouls the first pitch back. Walker, switch hitter, batting right-handed. He doubled his last time up.
Very nice to win this first game of the series and do a little payback, maybe a little 3 out of 4, if not sweep them. This guy throws a lot of strikes. Hey, he comes in and got a nice little breaking ball. Valdez does. Not afraid to throw his fastball. Not overpowering by any means of the imagination.
Now the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball foul, and it remains 0-2. Swing and a miss. He got it with that breaking pitch. Kratz did a nice job of blocking it and finishing off the strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Raul Valdez. Finishes up the 5th inning that was started by Jonathan Pettibone. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 2-2 ball game between the Pirates and the Phils. Ford stores. Go further. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Bottom of the 6th inning. Phillies bullpen's going to start up again. Antonio Bastardo has pulled his jacket off. The pitcher spot is due up 4th in the inning. And the Pirates will go to the bullpen for A.J. Burnett, who did not have his best stuff tonight, Sarge.
No, he sure didn't. Had some movement, got some early fastball call up in the zone there. Thought he got a little bit of help, and boy, had made pitches when he needed to make them. That was one that he needed with that 6-4-3 double play.
Well, we'll give way to Jared Hughes as we start the bottom of the 6th inning. Dominic Brown leads it off, and a swing and a miss at the first pitch. Brown's 0 for 1.
Still, though, not a bad performance. I mean, anytime you've only given up 2 runs, still giving your team a chance to try and win the ball game.
Yeah, he battled. There's no doubt about that.
Well, that's what it's all about. Sometimes you're not going to have your best stuff when you go out there every single day. Shows your character when you're able to battle and stay in a ball game and help your team out. Got to get that ball up a little bit.
Dominic is twisting his torso a little bit. 1-2 the count to Brown.
Time you like to put a little pressure on them and get some base runners. Doesn't throw overly hard, right about 92.
Filled his position quite nicely there. There's one away. Time for the Major League Notebook. Murph.
Well, thank you very much, T-Mac. And yeah, it's a little chilly here tonight, but if you think that's bad, 2 more Major League games were postponed today because of winter weather. Miami at Minnesota, Atlanta at Colorado, both snowed out today. It was the 4th game in Minnesota and the 3rd one in Colorado that has been canceled this week. 7 games total. And guys, Albert Pujols has slid over into the DH spot for the Angels right now. He is dealing with plantar fasciitis in his foot. He says it is incredibly painful, so he's going to be the DH for the foreseeable future and play as long as he can tolerate the pain. He did have a double that knocked in 2 runs yesterday to help them get a 4-3 win, but he said, quote, "I'm dying because of the pain." Very painful injury for Albert Pujols, guys.
You know, Murphy says he's had that pain before, but never this early in the season. He said it happens, and we've seen him limp around, right?
Yeah.
He said it usually happens around the All-Star break or after, but he said this is the earliest it's happened. He even said that there's a chance he may have to take some time off. I don't know if you have to have surgery or not, but at least be in a boot for a little while.
Yeah, it's a very painful injury. You hear it a lot with different athletes, and you know they're just trying to keep him off his feet as much as they can, so you know he can just DH at this point, not play first base for them. But you know you do have to wonder how long he's going to be able to keep it up.
That little kid behind you, Murph, just so you know, is looking like he's trying to be one of those zombies that are over at the Wells Fargo Center. The one in the blue hoodie there, the arrow.
These guys, you know, they're braving. It's a little chilly up here on the 2nd level. I got to be honest with you. This weather's probably not good for my petunias.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, I don't think they're good for your petunias, Murph. You should have covered them tonight.
I probably should have.
Oh, man. 2-0 the count. It does look like it's a little chilly up there. Murph is way up there.
Wow. Oh. That would be cold.
Kratz takes inside and low, 3-0. Kratz is 0 for 2. He's flied to center. He is struck out.
Well, striking out in that big situation where it needed a little contact. Very hittable pitch.
ball skips into the crowd like a rock along water. It's 3-2.
Not the kind that you want to really reach out and try and grab.
Everybody trying to keep their hands warm. A 2-2 game here in the bottom of the 6th. And Kratz lays off ball 4. It means that Ezekiel Carrera will get a chance to pinch hit for the Phillies with 2 outs here in the 6th. Carrera is still hitless for the Phillies. He hasn't played a whole lot, obviously. He's 0 for 7.
Yeah, and getting a lot of at-bats. Who knows the way things are going? He could sneak in and get a few more. See what happens after Delman Young there gets back.
He was tad out front of a 92-mile-an-hour fastball there.
Yeah, well, coming off that bench, they tell you to go up there and be swinging.
There's Bastardo warming up. Mike Adams stretching. Slowly hit right side. Tough play. Wilson, no chance. And Carrera has his first hit in a Phillies uniform.
Oh, boy.
Sliding head first.
Yeah, swinging bunt speed will help you get there, especially when you're running from the left side. Got a little extra step there as a pull from the right side. Even though it does slow you down when you get ready to dive, because now you got to slow down to dive. Samuel calling himself safe as well as he slides on his stomach. There he is again. That's how bad he wanted that hit.
Guys sometimes dive because they think that the throw might be in the base path and they're avoiding the tag. At least I think that's why they dive, because otherwise, why dive?
Well, if they're thinking that they get there a little bit quicker.
And Rollins lines one down the right field line. Foul. Oh, boy. Jimmy never dropped the bat. That was an indication, at least to me, that it wasn't going to stay fair. You just thought maybe there was a chance it could stay fair.
Well, I thought he hit it so hard that it was going to stay fair. And then he's more of a low ball hitter. You can see that, but on the follow through, it ended up hooking fine. There it is again, and that ball out over the plate that he ended up hooking. Usually that's a ball inside that you'll pull that far across the line.
Did you see the false hustle by Garrett Jones over at first on that ball?
Well, he was jumping up in the air like that.
He jumped as high as he could.
It's starting to happen on a regular basis there. I'm letting the guy slide. I mean,
that one is going to stay fair. It drops in for a base hit. Here comes Kratz. He's going to score. The throw cut off by Jones. They've got Rollins in a rundown. Now Carrera comes off third. Barmes comes to the plate. Martin throws back, and Alvarez dropped the ball. Everybody's safe. It's a 3-2 game.
Well, clutch hitting by Jimmy Rollins with that 2 outs again. Boy, dropped a little head on that. Ball going into right field. Take a look at it again. Almost in the same spot, but a little further inside. End up keeping that ball fair. Here's a throw coming inside. Rhino bringing him all the way. Kratz. Well, he gets across the plate. Here's a rundown now for you there. J-Ro's telling him, come on and get off. Once he ends up throwing the one time, Ben's getting back as he scampers. Would have been out, however, if he held on to the ball, but everybody's safe. Who's on first there, Tom? Oh, boy. It's one of the reasons that Charlie Manuel likes Jimmy Rollins hitting in that leadoff spot. Say what you want. He doesn't walk like your conventional leadoff hitters, but he will get you some base hits.
Well, 2 RBIs tonight for Rollins. That means he has reached 800 RBIs for his career as he continues to climb up one milestone after another. So he's in scoring position along with Carrera. It's a 3-2 Phillies lead. And John Mayberry's the batter. He's 0 for 3. And Mayberry takes low, 1-0. All of this happened with 2 outs.
It's funny how those always start with a walk.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. Leadoff walk in third led to the first run for the Phils. And a 2-out walk here in the 6th leads to the 3rd run. Now looking for some more.
Mayberry needs to be in a little bit better position. He seems to be getting back on his heels just a little bit. Very difficult to hit any off-speed pitch when you're doing that.
Tied him up. It's 2-2.
I think he's still kind of, if you will, experimenting somewhat. I don't know if he's feeling all comfortable, even though he's hitting decent, 293, a home run. Could have more RBIs in the 4, but he usually gives you a pretty good at-bat. Needs to stay off his heels. Nice to come out with another clutch hit to give him a little bit of breathing room.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Phillies leave a couple in scoring position, but they do retake the lead on an RBI by Jimmy Rollins. 3-2 as we go to the 7th.
Well, time now for your local Honda dealers game summary. Good ball game here tonight. Back and forth she goes. Pedro Alvarez, Russell Martin with solo home runs. A.J. Burnett, he pitched pretty good 5 innings. A lot of pitches. He got out of a few jams. Jimmy Rollins 2 for 3 with a couple runs. About 800 ribbies for Jimmy now. Jonathan Pettibone in his major league debut gave the Phillies a chance to win. No walks, 6 strikeouts. And he scored a run.
Yeah, they decided to go get him with a left-hander due up in Garrett Jones in the 6th. And now another lefty into the ball game. It's Antonio Bastardo with Pedro Alvarez leading it off for the Pirates.
And that was a really good spot when they did that, because you want to turn Walker around too. He's much better left-handed hitter than right. So in effect there, as you look at Bastardo's numbers, much better so far this year. They had 2 moves there they could make with a left-handed pitcher, even though he was going to bat right-handed.
2-0 the count. Bastardo pitched in last night's ball game. Jimmy Rollins has 2 RBIs tonight. He just gave the Phils the lead. Bastardo gave up a run in last night's game, but it was an unearned run. Back toward the middle. Utley ranges and won't make a play. It'll be a base hit for Alvarez. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Russell Martin, the batter, he homered his last time up. Swing and a miss. It's no balls and 1 strike.
They're pretty loaded off the bench right-handed as far as pinch hitters goes, with Sanchez, Tabata, guys like that. McKerney, their backup catcher. So you're not going to bunt here with the bottom of the order coming and the pitcher spot coming up, even though they may think about pinch hitting because it might get to 2 outs.
Martin is 2 for 2 tonight. He singled his first time up, and then that home run, which tied the ball game up at the time at 2. Slider must have been high. It's 2-1. Russell Martin was scheduled to play in the World Baseball Classic for Team Canada, but he was not scheduled to play as a catcher. It's the only thing he's played during his big league career, but he was scheduled to play shortstop. Kind of odd, but he didn't want to catch the amount of innings that I guess Canada wanted him to catch. And then the Pirates said, you know, it's your first year with the Buccos. Would really prefer if you stayed in camp, learn the pitchers, and that's what he wound up doing. 3-1 pitch. And a strike on the inside corner.
You got to sit in front of that guy all night, too. He certainly didn't want to do that, toss the bat away.
That was a pretty good pitch. I don't know how he thought that was a ball.
I guess because he called the one before that a ball, which was pretty close, too.
Well, I guess maybe he thought it was low.
Yeah. The one before that was pretty close.
It was right over the plate, though.
Martin makes a lot of contact. See if they run here. Here in a game that another run looks really big. The Phillies have left a lot out there tonight.
Alvarez doesn't go. And the ball is bounced back toward the middle. Should be 2. Rollins just steps on the second base bag. And a double play. There are 2 outs.
So I thought they might run there, because he's more likely to hit into a double play than strike out into one. Good job here. Antonio comes back after they thought he had walked, or Russell Martin thought he had walked. He tops a fastball. Easy double play for Jimmy to take it by himself. No pressure coming from the base runner. 2 outs, nobody on base.
So that brings Clint Barmes to the plate. Gabby Sanchez is the on-deck batter. If we get that far, he'll pinch hit.
In a home run yesterday, helped them win that game.
Barmes takes low, 1-0. Barmes tonight is 1 for 2.
Gabby Sanchez, he thought he was going to be with the Marlins forever.
And he was an all-star. And then, you know, as that first half a couple of years ago was winding down, he started to struggle, and then struggled the rest of the season. And into last year, too, and wound up being dealt to the Pirates.
Miami guy. Just really looked like a perfect fit for that franchise. Hard game. No, it's hard to maintain it year after year. why when you get guys that are everyday players in this sport, they're really big time.
Well, and I think when you get pitchers that are as consistent every single year, they're big time.
Sure.
Because you could be good for a few years and then fizzle out after that.
Well, they talk about on the back of a guy's baseball card, you'll learn a lot.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Barmes. And he stays alive, flips it foul.
Pirates are really happy with the back of their bullpen now with Melanson and Grilly, and the Phillies have their set up to go Bastardo, Adams, Papelbon with a lead, and that's what they're trying to do here tonight.
Swing and a miss. He got it with a slider. After Bastardo allows the leadoff single, the infield single, the double play and the strikeout, and he gets through the 7th. This is a heck of a pitch. Barmes has been a good 2-strike hitter tonight. Not on this one though from Bastardo, and it's time to stretch. His answer. All right, Wheels, here's the question one more time. Which Mets pitcher gave up Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit?
From Westchester, Pennsylvania, he pitched for the New York Mets, John Matlack.
John Matlack is correct. It was back on September 30th, 1972. John Matlack was a heck of a pitcher during his big league career. The Mets, the Texas Rangers. John McDonald will take over at shortstop for the Pirates. And the new pitcher is Vin Mazzaro in his 3rd ball game for Pittsburgh. He'll face Chase Utley to start it off. Hard throwing right-hander. The first pitch is outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
There's a lot of guys out of their bullpen. They're throwing the mid-90s, the upper 90s.
Time is called.
Phillies aren't going to get Mike Adams up.
Yeah, he was starting to stretch while Bastardo was throwing in the pen, just trying to get himself ready to go. Outside 2-0.
They had a 3-man overshift for Chase Utley early in the game. Now they're more conventional pull defense in the infield for him.
Fouls it away. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. A reminder, it's Earth Week. The American Dental Association suggests replacing toothbrushes every 3 to 4 months. If every American did, that would add up to over 1 billion toothbrushes a year. Do your part by replacing with a recycled plastic version. Green is universal. Wheels, I want you to go home tonight and replace your toothbrush.
You know what? I just started a new one about 2 weeks ago. Recycled the other one. Boy, and it's plastic.
You're going green.
Try. It's really pretty easy to do.
Line drive, base hit for Utley. And he'll stop at first. Snyder got to it quickly. A leadoff single. Michael Young is coming up. Or Ryan Howard's coming up, excuse me.
A few things in life that would be easier to do than try to do some of that stuff when you think about it. It's like running a ground ball in. How tough is that? How tough is it to get a recycling bin and put stuff in it?
I would agree with you. In fact, remind me after the game, my recycling needs to go out tomorrow.
Right.
Before I leave.
Mine goes out tomorrow night.
Ryan Howard is the batter. Howard is 1 for 3. Goes after a breaking pitch. It's 0-1.
He's going up there with a scouting report for a guy he's never seen before. They tell him, all right, here you go. 90s, mid 90s, high 90s. Look for that fastball. And what's he do? Zip. Spinner. Now he's got a little better chance for a hit now, too, because they can't play that second baseman in the outfield with a runner at first base. You see the defense.
Swing and a miss. 0-2. Another breaking pitch. Mazzaro's a New Jersey guy. He is from Rutherford, New Jersey. Went to Rutherford High School.
Probably got some fans down here tonight. Family and friends. Philly, when they play the Mets too, they probably go there to see him.
0-2 the count. And Howard pulls it right side. Oh, that's a heck of a play right there. That's a double play that John McDonald, the new shortstop, started. It goes 6-5-3.
Man, that was a great play, and he's just in the game.
One of Charlie Manuel's favorite infielders, John McDonald. Not his favorite right now.
No, that's tremendous reaction, and you can see as he's catching it, he's already starting to wheel and pivot and throw to second base.
So it goes shortstop to third, over to first. 6-5-3 on the double play. And here's Michael Young. And Young shoots it the other way, caught out of the air by Walker. Nobody signaled anything until the first base umpire nodded his head yes as the throw went over to first. So we've completed 7. Pretty good defense by the Pirates shortstops tonight. We go to the 8th. Bank Park. Fanatic doing a little dance on the dugout. Mike Adams is going to take over on the mound for the Phillies. Phillies scored single runs in the 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th. Jonathan Pettibone made his major league debut tonight and did a heck of a job. Meanwhile, down in Lakeland, Florida, Delman Young went 1 for 4 with a single for the Clearwater Threshers. He continues his rehab. There's a good chance he'll be up in AAA sometime in the next several days. Now, the offense is not a problem for Delman. It's really his defense and how he's going to play out in the outfield. And that's what Ruben Amaro said yesterday. As you look at Adams' numbers this year, 1-1 at 2.25 earned run average. Be hard pressed to make a better catch in right field than John Mayberry made earlier tonight that saved a run. And may have saved Jonathan Pettibone's outing.
Yeah, that certainly was a big play for John Mayberry in right field tonight early in the game.
John McDonald will lead it off for the Pirates as we go to the 8th inning. It'll be McDonald in the top of the order. Adams delivers a strike. It's 0-1.
Play the corners up right now and guard the line, especially at 3rd with Young here in a 1-run game. See what they're going to do with their infield defense.
Donald shows bunt, takes low, 1-1.
And that's why they have Young and Ryan Howard cheating up a little bit at the corners in case he were to do that.
There are a lot of teams that have been pushing those bunts up the first base line toward Howard's direction. Out of play, and it's 1-2 to McDonald. John McDonald's now 38 years old. He'll be 39 in September. Talk about a guy that has made his career because of his defense. That's what John McDonald's done. He's never been a particularly strong offensive player, but he's been able to pick it everywhere he's been.
He just showed it.
To the count. He got him. He went around according to the home plate umpire Mike Muklinski. And there's 1 out. Phillies have racked up the strikeouts tonight. That's 10 strikeouts for Phillies pitching.
I think a breaking ball here. Took a lot off it. Well, that rotation, it almost looked like a curveball. All that spin.
If you watched Philly Sports Talk with Michael Barkan the other day, when Mike Adams was on, he talked about coming back from his surgery this year. He said, you know, I'm not all the way back where I'd like to be. He said, do I wish my velocity was better? Yep. Do I wish I felt better? Yeah. But he certainly has, his command has been good, and that's enabled him to throw all of his pitches.
Well, he's smart. He has an idea. Beltran beat him on a decent pitch the other night. You got to give Beltran credit.
0-2 the count.
Got a fastball away and hit a line drive home run to left field.
I thought it was a very open conversation that he had with Michael on the show, and you know, we've talked to Mike Adams from time to time, and we know he's working back from the surgery. But the way he made it seem is that there are better days to come, even with his velocity, which is great.
Warm weather should help. We'll get warm someday.
It may.
Yeah, maybe in May.
0-2 pitch. Down the left field line and foul.
Roy hung a changeup. See, it was something slow. He knows he almost got hurt with that. He's going for a strikeout with an off-speed pitch that was supposed to be down, and it wasn't. Marte's quick. He saved the run early in this game when you figure that ball Utley hit down the line would have been a double, and then the ball that Howard hit right after that would have gotten him to third as opposed to a force at second.
Lays off 1-2 the count. Jonathan Pettibone started this ball game for the Phillies. He went 5 1/3. He struck out 6, the most strikeouts for a Phillies pitcher in his major league debut since Cole Hamels back in 2006. Ground to foul, and it remains 1-2. Broke his bat. And Adams able to backhand it. An awkward throw over to first.
Talked about him earlier because he falls off so much to that side that the mound is left open up the middle. But in that case, that was a dribbler right near the side of the mound.
Well, he's laughing about that throw. MLB.TV is celebrating 11 years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere.
Pitchers were out there working on plays this afternoon too. Little pitchers fielding practice, PFP.
Yeah, what they were doing, Ryan Sandberg was hitting the ground balls, and he was calling out the situation, and it would be different every time. And they were all out there. It wasn't just a handful of guys. The only one that wasn't there was Jonathan Pettibone, who was starting tonight. But Rhino's been doing that quite often. That was something that Charlie Manuel wanted this season, and Ruben Amaro wanted this season, was to do some of those fundamentals.
Yeah, more drills.
Want to know the count to Snyder. It's Howard, fly ball, foul territory. Howard and Utley are there, and it's Howard who stood his ground. And the side is retired. A 1-2-3 eighth inning for Mike Adams. 7.5 in the books. The Phils up by 1, and that guy a happy camper. The Phillies are on top 3-2. Dominic Brown is ready to go, and the first pitch is outside from Vin Mazzaro, and it's 1-0. Dominic tonight is 0 for 2. He walked back in the fourth.
Of course, Papelbon gets up now. It's the way they drew it up. They could get a lead.
Into the dugout, 1-2 the count.
Those Knights are hanging on here with good pitching. They have had so many chances. Well, not so many, but they've had chances to really score runs here tonight and haven't been able to do it.
Well, they've left 8. That ball is hit in the air to right field. Going back under to Snyder. He has room. Just missed it. And there's one out. The wind may have knocked that down, too. You know, the Pirates, we said their bullpen is coming together. Look what they did in the last 3 games against the Braves. No earned runs in 11 innings. The Braves hit just 189 against them. That's why when we look at our Mazda leaders, you see the Pittsburgh Pirates are just behind the Atlanta Braves for ERA for the bullpen.
Yeah, those were Braves-like numbers that they threw up against Atlanta. It was a little back at you.
Revere takes low. It's 1-0.
And I mentioned Grilli has turned into a closer for them. Jason Grilli and Melanson, who
Mark Melanson.
Melanson, right? Who used to be with Houston and then Boston, has turned into a real good 8th inning guy.
Yeah, he was part of the Joel Hanrahan deal. Hanrahan went to the Red Sox. Everybody seemed to be happy with that deal on both ends.
But now Hanrahan's hurt.
2-1 the count. Well, this guy has got a live arm. It's 95 every single time he throws.
Yeah, that's what they had him down the scouting report. He's going to be mid-90s. Fastball, breaking ball. A little change up once in a while.
Revere slices one toward left center, and Marte is able to track it down for the second out. There's Papelbon warming up in the bullpen. Under the watchful eye of Rod Nichols. Yeah, I was thinking about Rod Nichols tonight with Pettibone out on the mound. Rod was the pitching coach at Lehigh Valley last year. Pettibone came up at the end of the year, was 4-1 for the Iron Pigs. Must be pretty gratifying when he sees some of his guys. He's had a hand in helping them along.
Yeah,
come up and pitch in the major leagues. They all rave about him. Everybody that comes through Lehigh Valley that's worked with Rod Nichols raves about the job he did as the pitching coach down there.
He's been a valuable part of this organization for a number of years. There he is. I was going to do an arrow, but did them earlier.
You done with the arrows?
Well, there's only one other person there, so it's obviously Rod Nichols.
Kratz fouls it up the right field line. Now the 1-2 pitch. Little dribbler up the third base line, and it's rolling, and it's foul. Need more than the Fanatic Dangle hat tonight, Wheels.
Yeah. See people wearing them in July and they don't look real good. Tonight, perfect.
So cold tonight that the Pettibone family had to buy a blanket. Blankets everywhere around the ballpark tonight.
So John Wayner, one of the Pittsburgh broadcasters, former major league.
He had a blanket?
He didn't even have a jacket. He had to go out and buy one today.
Well, he told me that he was cold before the game, but right now he feels pretty good. He said it's not that bad.
You only went from Pittsburgh to Philly. How could you not bring a jacket? He says brain cramp.
Auburn Tigers, Wheels.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And then Martin will flip it over to first to finish off that strikeout. 1-2-3 go the Phillies here in the 8th inning. All right, so here we go. The way they drew it up, it didn't always work last year when the Phils were hanging on to a lead in the 8th inning. Tonight it worked, and now it's time for the 9th inning as Jonathan Papelbon's going to come on with the Phils up 3-2. Time now for our Subway winning box scores. The Phillies are on top 3-2. Take a look what the Phils have done tonight. Jimmy Rollins, 2 RBIs, has reached the 800 RBI mark for his career. Eric Kratz has scored a run for the Phillies. And Michael Young has scored a run. You don't see Jonathan Pettibone on there, but he scored a run.
He walked to lead off an inning and scored a run.
So now Papelbon trying to pick up his 4th save of the year. Papelbon, 7 innings, 5 strikeouts. His first game as a Philly, he got the save against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was last year in Pittsburgh.
Yep, behind Roy Halladay's 8 innings.
Game 2 coming up tomorrow night. Cole Hamels on the mound for the Phillies. Jeff Locke is scheduled to pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Night game on Wednesday, that's Roy Halladay. Day game on Thursday, that's Cliff Lee. Phil's trying to take game 1 of this 4-game series. Ryan Sandberg helping to align the defense of the infield. There's Michael Young. He's going to play maybe a half step in from the third base bag, tight to the line. With Andrew McCutchen coming up, he's 0 for 3.
You don't expect McCutchen to bunt because he can pop one, but you have to look for it anyway, I guess.
He swings at the first pitch, pops it up. Kratz has his sights set on it, and one away. 1 pitch, 1 set aside.
Boy, he was fighting that wind then. That was a tougher play than it looked. Nice job to get him on 1 pitch too. He was up there trying to pop one is what he was doing. He has some power. There's certain guys, you always say, oh, you got to take a pitch to get a strike in the 9th inning. That's not always true, because sometimes you get guys up there that can hit a home run and you let them go early in the count to see if maybe they can do it. He's one of them.
This guy's probably another one too.
This guy's another one. If there's some banjo hitter up there, those are the kind of guys that you say, all right, take a couple.
There's Garrett Jones. He's 0 for 3.
Like a lot of us were. Don't use that expression anymore, do they?
Banjo man?
Banjo hitter.
Banjo hitter?
No.
I haven't heard it in a while.
Punch and Judy, that one's kind of gone by the way too.
I've heard Banjo man.
Oh yeah.
Line drive down the right field line. That's going to be in for a base hit. Mayberry going to try to cut it off, but Jones on his way to second, and he's going to get there standing. So the tying run is in scoring position with 1 out. It's the first hit for the Pirates since the 7th. Only their 2nd hit since the 5th. And Michael McHenry, it looks like, is going to come in and pinch run. Oh, no, that's Presley. I'm sorry. It's Presley. I was going to say, why would McHenry come in? It's Presley who's going to pinch run for the Pirates.
He can run, too.
He can.
So they're going to, in fact, Chase Utley's coming in right now to remind Papelbon, hey, we've got to watch him back here. According to the notes here, Walker has never had an official at bat against Jonathan Papelbon. Jones had been 0 for 3.
Neil Walker's 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts, a double.
Jimmy Rollins is the guy that's coming in behind Presley at second.
Out toward left center field. Dominic Brown got a late start. It's going to hang up there for him as he closes fast and makes the catch. Don't forget, coming up after this ball game, it's Phillies post-game live. It's brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. They'll break down Jonathan Pettibone's first major league start and hopefully get a chance to chat about a Phillies victory here at Game 1. Coming up right after the ball game. Jonathan Papelbon needs 1 more out to preserve the win for the Phillies. In Game 1 of this series, a tough hitter in Pedro Alvarez. He's popped 1 tonight. 2 for 3 overall.
Stay away from him. Kratz sets up away. No. You don't want that swing again. He was right on it.
Fouled it back. It's 0-1. Alvarez, the first-round pick for the Pirates, second pick overall. Signed a 5-year deal. This is the last year of that 5-year deal.
I'm not as concerned with Presley right now. He's getting a big lead. Nobody's really holding him on because the infielders want to hold their ground deep in the infield with 2 outs. Where you want to go? Out there. He's swing happy right now. You can see that he's trying to win the game or put them ahead with a homer. So you can throw him away and get him to chase or something even down. And don't worry about the guy at second.
0-2 the count. Papelbon is ready. At the 0-2 pitch. And a called strike 3 right on the inside part of the plate. It ran back off the hip of Pedro Alvarez, and the Phillies have taken game 1 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 3-2, the final score. And the eyes of Jonathan Papelbon tell a lot of the story about the intensity. This one was intense. It was a 1-run victory for the Phillies. For Papelbon, it's his 4th save of the year, and he saves it for Raul Valdez, who came on in relief from Jonathan Pettibone in his first major league starts.
And the bullpen did a great job.
Great job.
Figure what Valdez came in behind Pettibone, got 2 strikeouts, and then it was set up for Bastardo, Adams, and Papelbon. Jonathan ran that sinker back. Good job of framing it there by Eric Kratz. Alvarez thought it was a little bit inside, but it's a save.
So the Phillies take game 1 of this 4-game series after splitting the 4 games with the St. Louis Cardinals. Although they had opportunities to add to their lead, they were unable to push the extra few runs across the plate. But Jimmy Rollins picked up 2 RBIs tonight. He now has 800 for his career.
Yeah, number 800 is the game winner in the 6th inning. He just missed a double down the line, and now he keeps this one fair. Eric Kratz scores from second base, gave the Phillies 3-2 lead, and that's the way it will wind up because of the really good pitching by both teams out here tonight. That's our W.D. Mason delivery of the game.
So the Phillies win it by a final 3-2. Jonathan Pettibone in his major league debut did an outstanding job. We're going to talk to him when we return to the ballpark.